Hey, FlimsyLunchTray here, and welcome to World of Warships. As today, I want to feature the Petropavlovsk, but more specifically, the unique upgrade for this Tier 10 Soviet cruiser, heavy cruiser, the Petropavlovsk. And this unique upgrade is amazing. This was actually my very first game running here in Mode Shuffle and testing out the unique upgrade. And you might be asking, Flimsy, well, what does the unique upgrade do for the Petropavlovsk? So I'm going to pick up my mic as I look to my left screen here. Basically, this enhances the ship's tactical role, allowing you to focus on dealing with heavily armored targets. The buffs with this unique upgrade is the main battery AP shell damage goes up by plus 10%, and the maximum main battery shell dispersion is reduced by negative 10%, so more accurate horizontal and vertical salvos at the nerf or expense of giving up one consumable. So that means having one less hydro, one less radar, one less repair party. The only way you're going to get back up to 4 again if you are running this unique upgrade is if you manage to pick up the First Blood achievement, if you have Kuznetsov as your commander here on the ship, which we do have currently here in the game. But talking more specifically about the armor piercing on the ship, as we were detected here, and soon we're going to run into a destroyer, as well as some other ships, is that the armor piercing is just incredibly good. I mean, on one sense, your flight time for these armor piercing shells are the best in the game. 5.2 second flight time for tier 10 cruisers in the game. And then their penetration, in terms of the strength of the penetration is AP shells, they rank 3rd. Stalingrad, Sevastopol, and then the Petropavlovsk. So these AP shells are just incredibly good as we pick up our first citadel. Now you might already be noticing from these salvos we're firing just how tight these salvos are, because that is the benefit when you build on the ship. In the 3rd slot for this build, in my opinion, you'd want to take the aiming systems modification 1, as this is going to reduce your maximum main battery shell dispersion by negative 7%, and then this unique upgrade, which by the way, it is called the ballistic capped armor piercing shell, goes in your 6th slot. So basically it means you're going to probably be giving up your main battery mod 3, so you're giving up a faster reload time. That would also be a nerf to your main battery traverse speed for the ballistic cap armor piercing shells. And not only that, but the other thing we do with our build here is, for my build, I'll put it on the left side of the screen now before I forget, is I don't take survivability expert. Because we have, between our unique upgrade of this running giving us plus 10% to our damage of our AP shells. We also take the 3-point skill, being the heavy armor piercing shells. So this is a plus 5% main battery AP shell damage with a main battery caliber of 190mm and above, and with the Petropavlovsk, because I'm like, oh shoot, am I going to eat a torpedo here? You have 220mm guns. So what ends up happening is your maximum AP shell damage goes up from 6,350 to 7,334. So you're almost getting 1,000, how do you say it? 1,000 hit points extra damage with per AP shell here. So that really means we build more into the offensive capability of these AP shells. Also, you know, this is the same commander I would run on my Stalingrad. So that does mean we're giving up a defensive skill and not taking the survivability expert to have an additional 4,500 hit points. So there's a bit of a cost there. And also that we don't have that 4th repair party, 4th hydroacoustic search, and 4th radar, right? So maybe it's not per se the best competitive build, as we get another citadel there on the Takahashi, who's actually going to be an immense pain for us. So maybe it's not the best for clan battles if you're like wanting to run additional radars on that, and of course you can switch up those 3-point skills, so you can still pick up, switch things around to whatever meta or whatever tactical role we were trying. Now, if you notice, we've not even reached 15 minutes into the game, and we've taken over almost 2.2 million potential damage in the game already. So they're really focusing us quite heavy here early on in the game. So I'm like, so that's kind of, I had this question in the back of my mind, like, well, I mean, you're giving up those additional hit points, not taking survivability expert, as we know proxy Kuznetsov's one of his talents being, what is the name of that talent? Let's check. It's called the Will for Victory. Activates once per battle if your ship's hit points fall below 10%, plus 20% dispersion of shells fired by enemies attacking your ship, and you get plus 0.35% HP per second. And that, I think, is a 15-second action time, as we're going to take a shot on this Holland player, who's actually been playing a really, really good there in the back, as now you see we're up to 2.4 million potential damage. So I've been talking kind of more about the ideology of the ship and the build, so to speak, as we take cover behind the island here, because I know between the Holland and the Takahashi, they're probably just going to keep slinging torpedoes down this narrow channel. But I'm going to show you a really good example, if you haven't already seen some good examples of the battle so far, of just how tight the dispersion is on these main battery shells now that we have the unique upgrade here in the 6th slot. So there's going to be a victim running up mid, a cruiser thinking they're safe in the middle of the map, but not on my watch. And yes, it is the Minotaur. Now I'm trying not to lock onto him just yet. I don't want him to give away what's going on. Now, of course, he can go dark. His concealment is like 9.1, but we have 12-kilometer radar. So we're going to clear this island a little more for our front main battery turrets. We're detected. We're going to go ahead and pop the radar. He's still sailing along. One salvo. I mean, just look how tight that is, right? And burp. So I was thinking in my head just before I clicked the record button, like, when you take this unique upgrade, this feels like a mini Wisconsin, right? And I never thought I might say that in making a comparison between a tier 10 US battleship with the Petropavlovsk, but it kind of does feel like that to a certain extent, where these armor-piercing shells, where their fuse time is 0.022 seconds. I think the standard fuse time is, most ships in the game have 0.033 seconds. So then you're not as likely to overmatch cruisers when you shoot through them like you are with other ships in the game. And I think the shortest fuse time is like, what, 0.010 seconds? Like, I think that's what you have like on Conqueror, so that's why, like, I think it's Conqueror, like St. Vincent and some other, there's a lot of ships, there's a couple of ships, I think it's more the British ships in the game that have that. So, you know, now here's the cost, here's the downside. We can't heal anything back now, right? And we have a heal buff that just spawned behind us. And I think I wish I would have been a little more mindful of that, you know, since this is arms race. But I don't want to just, you know, reverse up there instead of waiting on the buff, as I'm also trying to be mindful of all these torpedoes coming. But I want to help my battleship player out. And no citadels there. His nose maybe not quite enough, far enough out yet, but I'm pretty sure his nose is, because, you know, we can clearly see underneath the front turret. And boop, 22,000, right? So between the penetration damage, but then also the citadels, like, we're just getting much larger hits when we do land. So when you talk about the trade-off between the main battery mod 3 for a faster reload time versus like tighter shell dispersion and plus 10% AP shell damage, I mean, honestly, it's maybe that trade-off is the same, if maybe not even better, just because you're not building into your reload time on the main battery, because your AP shells specifically are going to be dealing more damage out. Now, if you're firing high explosive a lot, I'd be kind of like, why? Because it's not really, this ship isn't about the high explosive, it's about the armor piercing. And if you don't believe me, that's about the armor piercing, where you're about to have another example here again, as Musashi is going to demonstrate for us these strong shells. As the gearing also has torpedoes in there, but boop, hit him for over 25,000 damage. As the gearing torpedo is going to end up taking out our Musashi man, which I actually played the battle with him again after this, but he's on my team, and we did over 214,000 damage in that game. So I thought about making this a double feature, but I was like, maybe you guys would just like it to be a shorter video, or you let me know in the comments, because I'm kind of playing around with that thought, you know, not having as long of a video. Again, this Holland player is really good. He's got his engine boost going. He's juking. He's playing with the WASD keys. And I was thinking that these were just Holland torpedoes here. And I didn't respect, I should have turned in to the left between these two torpedoes. But they're actually Takahashi torpedoes. So that means I'm going to get hit really hard. And I should have noticed that they weren't going very fast. So it's Takahashi. But 2.8 million potential damage with 205,000 damage all said and done, as we're just going into post-battle results. So 12 Citadels with 134 target hits, with the 1 destroyed. So yeah, I hope that gives you an idea of this unique upgrade. I think it's very much worth it. It's the second unique upgrade I've ever picked up from the game. I had the one for Des Moines, which is like incredibly good. And they just now announced the release of one coming for Vermont and Colombo. The Vermont one looks really good. But here, over 1,400 base XP on a loss. So we had some good teammates carrying, and also challenging. The enemy team played really well, especially in the last, in the ending of the battle. Like, they had some really great focus fire and map control. We took 84,000 damage. Yeah, we only ever fired armor pierce. No, we fired some high explosive shells in there as well. So, I mean, we didn't even have like a full game. Like, we could have kept going for longer, right? But of course we died. So we could have, our damage couldn't have even been more just from this battle alone. But again, we were in arms race, so we get some buffs to certain ship characteristics. So I have to be mindful of that, and I'll go back and look at what specific buffs we have and try to make a note when I'm talking about some of the armor piercing shell damage. So we might be seeing some inflated numbers, right? If we had some main battery buffs to the shell damage, right? So I need you to be mindful of that. So, but regardless, I mean, just seeing that the dispersion and just feeling like the guns were just doing more damage just already in general because of just the build we have between our commander and that unique upgrade just makes the ship feel incredibly more strong, in my opinion. And just having that tighter dispersion in greater shell damage, even though it comes at the cost of giving up each of our consumables with the repair party and the radar and hydroacoustic search. I think I still am keen to want. Overall, I would say, yeah, I wouldn't go without the unique upgrade. After I played 4 or 5 games, this is just the first of the 5 with this new unique upgrade, because to me it's filthy strong and just makes Petropavlovsk feel, you know, just that even much more powerful. So making a bit more of an investment on the ship here in the game of World of Warships. So yeah, so I hope that you like this video. I'm just going to cap it on the head. But if you're running the unique upgrade on the Petropavlovsk, let me know your thoughts on it. Or maybe you're running some other unique upgrades on various ships. Maybe you have a favorite. I'd be kind of curious to know. My favorite so far, of course, would be with the Des Moines. But this one is also really nice to see here as well. So if you liked this video, give a thumbs up. If you didn't, give a thumbs down. Subscribe if you do want to see more. If you're subscribed, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you to my Patreon supporters. And until next time, take care.